Okay. Player profile with Chris, Uni X, take 1. What is up, Dragon Ballers, and welcome to another player profile with Josh. Today we have Chris, Uni X. How you doing, Chris?
I am doing very, very well. Much better than recently, and I'm happy to be here.
It is incredible to have you on the channel, and also as a new content creator and member of the team. So welcome to the team, Chris. It's a pleasure to have you.
Pleasure to be here.
You may not know this, but you were one of the first content creators I saw when I started playing the game myself. So you influenced me to get to the point I'm at now. So there you go.
That feels super good. Because, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird when you start this stuff. Like it feels so like small. Like I remember way back before I took like a break for like all of the multicolored set. I was looking at my phone, scrolling through the website for 3 a.m. spoilers and talking over it, and then uploading that to YouTube. And then like, it progresses to I have my camera set up and I'm doing a screen recording. And then like now, like I'll do deck profiles with my green screen up so I can be overlaid over it and all this stuff. But it's crazy to hear people who have been like, hey, like I used to watch you X amount of time and then I want to do like it's still weird to hear.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. So we'll start off with the interview. We're going to play a game in a little while. It may be recorded, not today, but it will come out. That's irrelevant to you guys, to be honest. The power of edit.
The power of edit.
So here we go. So how did you get into the game and initially take an interest in Dragon Ball Super CCG?
I have been addicted to cardboard crack for a long time. I am currently 30. I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was in 4th grade. Some kid at YMCA summer camp just put 3 blue eyes on top of each other, said it had 9,000 attack, and swung at me for game. And I was like, whoa. And the next year I got my little starter decks, and I was like, I will find this man. He never came back to YMCA summer camp the next year. I never got my revenge. But from that point on, it like sparked the need for cardboard. And I played that for a long time. I've played Magic competitively for a while, but I didn't have enough friends that also like to grind. Plenty of the other games like Vanguard, just like a lot of other games I've played because I just like card games in general. But I was sitting here after years of not playing card games, and I saw a starter deck in the store. And my ex at the time was like, you should get it because like you like card games, you haven't played in a while. And I was just like, look, that's a slippery rabbit hole that I don't
slippery slope, yeah.
I was like, look, this is you're gonna see a side of me that you have not seen. And like I just don't want to. And then later, I'm bored. She's out with her girlfriends, and I'm like, oh wait, there's a locals near me that plays. So I went down to see locals, and I saw it being played for the first time, and I was like, wow. So of course I start reading the cards, I start looking over the cards, and then I end up going in there with this tri-colored Vegeta deck. Basically, it was set 1 Vegeta. Yeah, it was red, blue, like most Vegetas were. But I teched in a green splash for full power energy because it was the only thing that could just smoke Kaba off the board before it could smack your face for dual attack or dual strike, or double strike. And then I also put in the 3-drop Go tanks that when he swings, your opponent discards a card.
Yeah.
So on top of the critical pressure from Vegeta, I was able to start picking at your hand with the Go tanks, and it felt really good because full power energy in that deck actually just felt really good at that.
And that was your first deck. And were you successful with playing with it? Did you win?
I got 2nd place in my locals, and the guy who beat me, actually, I currently live with him. Friendships that last for a long time. He was
Fortune
playing
battle.
For real. He was playing a blue-red Champa deck, but he had like, you remember that Super Saiyan 3 Goku from the TP?
Well, I didn't play back then, did I? So
okay, fair enough.
But people who are watching this might have. So it's
it was like the most expensive card in the game at that point. It only came out the TP pack. It was Super Saiyan 3, but he came down and he gave all of your red battle cards like 5k for the turn, but then he would have to bounce back to your hand at the end of turn. And I think he cost like 3. So he was playing a Champa deck, and Champa was giving people double strike, and they were swinging mad, and he out pressured me. But then he was just like, yo, your deck was really interesting. And then we started talking and we became friends. So that was my first deck. And after that, I was hooked. I loved the depth of it because in reality, I kind of become disillusioned with Yu-Gi-Oh by that point.
Yeah, okay.
Like that was around Pendulum's coming out, and everything just seemed like full circle, which to a degree I liked. But there were just some janky floodgates in the game that just made it feel like your setup was your setup, and sometimes you were just gonna win the die roll, set up on your opponent, and there was nothing you could do. So I was like dislike that. But then with Magic, like I said, I thought Magic was the most conceptually strong. I still think it is a card game, but I just didn't have the friends to play it. But Dragon Ball Super split the difference. It was very fast paced, but at the same time, it had the depth and the bones that I liked a lot from Magic, and so it quickly became my favorite game.
I agree. Magic the Gathering is something I've played since I was quite young, and this definitely. I saw similarities immediately, and I just was drawn to it because I love Dragon Ball. But yeah, no, 100%. It's Magic the Gathering is an awesome game. So, what's your favorite deck ever, and why?
This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that knows me, but my favorite deck of all time is U7 Gohan. Red U7 Gohan. One, because Ultimate Gohan is just my dude. Like, he's literally my dude. I've got like I've got like a bunch of figures of him. I'm gonna be getting more when these superhero things come out. But Ultimate Gohan is my guy. It was also the first time that Bandai reached out to me to do a spoiler. It's crazy to know that you are such a public Ultimate Gohan stan that the creators of the game can see this on social media, see this in the group site, and literally come out and be like, hey, how would you like to spoil this new Gohan leader that's coming out? And I was like, abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah, what an
and then
amazing
to then
opportunity.
turn around. Yeah, and to then turn around and then get the first and so far only premier first place with the deck, it was a dream come true. So that deck has a lot of memories for me, and it will always be like a deck I'm fond of.
I suppose you're looking forward to the upgrades it's getting in the anniversary box, no?
So I will be completely honest about it. Right now we know one card, and it's the Divine Presence. Oh, it's like I said, Divine Presence. It's essentially like it's a Ultra Instinct Goku, and I really like it. It's kind of weird because for everybody that, and I do say like this does happen. Like whenever a red card drops that can be used in Gohan, I get a couple messages on Facebook in the Discord asking when, and then every now and then there's a comment on YouTube asking when are you making an upgrade, and then every now and then somebody just will message me, hey, have you tried touching the Gohan list? So I'm not saying I'm working on one, but I am saying that I'm interested at this point, even before the Anti-Box comes out.
Is there a Z leader for Gohan, or am I imagining that? No Z leader, just a battle card.
Yeah, so far we got a battle card, and then outside of the battle card, what we have is there's an Android 18 that we don't know the effect of yet. 3-drop, and it's coming in the non-Z Battle Z Awaken support set in the Anti-Box. And I'm thinking that it will have something to do because it's kind of early to support U7 Goku.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time as it being early to support that, it seems like a lot of these cards go hand in hand. Like we have an Oceanus for the Toa deck, but then we also can clearly see there's a Z Awaken or a Z Battle Toa card. So I'm thinking that if this Z Battle card is specifically, like it's worded specifically for Gohan, I'm assuming this Android 18 will have something to do with Gohan as well. So I am waiting to see that. But this Goku is in a weird space right now for me because there's a lot of barrier. There's a lot more barrier removal as of this set than there has ever been before. And I will tell you right now, spending 3 energy and 3 Z energy to play this Goku feels really bad when your green opponent answers it by tapping 2 for Fated Rival Goku and just blows it up, and you're just sitting here like, so I'm interested. I think the card is very, very good. It does a great amount of things to the deck, and it's kind of weird because I play Gohan very aggressively, but this card is something that I would like to play more against yellow and blue because it's a 3-drop, and it really starts recycling your vanillas and giving you Sensu Bean-like effects. So I feel like it's a good longevity card, not a good like aggression card.
Yeah.
But I can see it being like used for my longer games. I just need to know that green is not sitting here in the format in mass because I cannot play that card when it can be answered for 1 energy cheaper and then I can be dunked on. It's just not going to be the move.
Well,
but I'm excited. Yes.
Here's a little quick one. What do you think of this card? Are you considering
card?
Are you considering using this in Gohan?
Hypothetically, if I was working on a Gohan deck, if I was hypothetically looking at a list on Untap right now that I've been crafting, hypothetically,
of course, yeah.
Hypothetically,
of course.
There's 4 copies of Rush Attack Vegeta in my Z deck.
Hypothetically, yeah. Not actually. But...
Not actually. Can't confirm nor deny.
All right, so Gohan, a big favorite. Did you ever play like with the 8-drop Goku from Realm of the Gods? Did you ever do anything with that? It was like a deck that I guess combos out so much that you get the 25.
So I definitely, this was
20.
a huge point of contention. This is a huge point because when I got revealed at Worlds, everybody was like, "Yeah, I'm running it as a top end and like in Gohan." And I at first looked at it, but like my main thing was I was like, when am I ever tapping 4 for anything? Like that was my. I'm not trying to sound like Frank Castle, but like when am I tapping 4 for anything in a red deck that's not going to immediately win me the game? I was kind of like, this is cool top end, but like at that point, like. So winning Gen Con, it was like a run it and gun it type deck. I ran 2 Champas and 2 Fighting Against Fates, and a lot of people were like, well, that's weird, like 2 Fighting Against Fates. And I'm like, yeah, this deck will make the overarm for it. And it's also important because you'll be able to use Fighting Against Fate for a push play, but then you can also draw your second one and use it for a finishing play. And a lot of people like didn't respect that logic until they saw it in action. They're just like, bro, like this dude has used 2 Champas, 2 Fighting Against Fates in the same game, like this, that. And I'm like, yeah, like it works. And so when I saw that card, I was like, I don't know, that's a little hefty. And even after testing started, when we finally got like most of the spoilers, I couldn't reliably use that card. Like it was like just very weird. On any turn where I could have used 4 energy, I could also have dropped 2 Divine Presences in the same turn and probably put out more pressure.
Yeah, I mean, even playing U7, that's kind of a toss up between playing 2 Divine Presence and that. So yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, and then we got Daddy Vegeta.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
And we saw Vegeta, and it was just no contest. Like Vegeta was the envoy of victory. Like it was crazy. Like the moment we got that spoiled, I was just like, I have never seen like the only like there were 2 colors in the game that had quintessential SCRs in my opinion. That was black with Kai, but that was like splashable. Anybody could use it, but it was just a really good secret rare. But more so blue. Blue had Hatch. There was just, you looked at Hatch and no other blue secret rare could compare. And no other color I've ever believed has had that until we got that Vegeta. That Vegeta was just like blackluster SSB Vegeta, envoy of victory. Like he just comes down and just immediately threatens game. And it was just so wild because like you don't have to commit to anything. He can come down and he can not even attack. He can just be like, you know what, your field is mine now. Plus that life, plus lose 5k. Like
yeah, he's so dangerous. Good. I love playing that card. It feels unfair almost. Even still,
it's close. It's borderline to over just depending on the format. Like he comes down to a full board on your end, and even if he doesn't ever swing, he's gonna make it easier for every other battle card in your field to get it in. Like if he does swing, like.
And he crits a life, like so.
Exactly.
Your opponent's immediately at 7 life if you're playing that. Talking about Hatch, a little discussion point. Do you think this can compete with it?
Absolutely not right now. I think that card is beautiful, but so lots of discussions I've had with like SCRs. I think that being a slot that can only be used by 1 card in your deck, your SCR needs to provide you with an effect that does one of 2 things. It needs to either complement your current strategy so much that the redundancy is overbearing. Like, and what I mean by that is it needs to, if it's an aggro card as your SCR, it needs to put your aggro over the top. It needs to be a SS4 Broly, or in some cases like with Gogeta, it needs to be that SS4 Vegito. But or it needs to give you an effect that your deck could not manage with any other card, and that's Hatch. Hatch will turn off your opponent's ability to kill you for a turn. Pan, will either add a free attack that you can put a Champa on, or it will stop you from getting killed. Like, these are all Supreme Kai. Supreme Kai added a board wipe to every single color. These cards need to do something that your deck is incapable of doing, or it needs to push your deck's boundaries to the absolute max and break it. So when I see that card, it gives you like a massive Sensu Bean when played later in the game, and it can give you multiple swings. But I don't think that's unique enough to overshadow Hatch, because Hatch will straight up cause you to not lose the game on a turn. And past that, I think the only way Hatch gets moved out of the format is if blue gets some valid floodgates and we get something that's as swingy, if not more destructive than that Kaioken Goku. But as long as Hatch is like the goated of all time, like freaking floodgate, I don't think he can be overshadowed. But yeah, if we got like a Violent Raise level card for blue, I think people will start looking. Yeah, people will start actually looking at more cards that could be offensive. Like, we just need a destructive finisher in blue, and then blue just needs to get a Violent Raise. And if that's the case, I think that, yeah, people may start branching. But at the moment, blue doesn't actually have that. Like, we have like all their floodgates cost a lot of energy, and they're not free like Hatch. So I don't think there's a valid reason to look outside of Hatch quite yet.
No, that's very, very good take. Very good take. Thank you for that. So here's some fun questions. Which cards do you think should be banned immediately right now if you could ban a few cards? What comes to mind?
Just it's Swift Retaliation Cooler. It's just, like, I'm gonna be real.
You just hate that card, or what's your reason?
So I think that there's a difference between cards that encourage back and forth play and cards that straight up take away your ability to play. And Cooler falls in the latter. Like, there are so many setups where your plays going through these turns, your setup, how you micromanage your advantage comes into play and matters. And then there's Cooler, Swift Retaliation Cooler. It doesn't matter what your play was that turn. It doesn't matter how you set up. There will just be a time where your opponent swings with their biggest card, and you're like, I'm going to negate that. And they're like, nope, we're going to the combo phase because my SCR is in hand and I've got this Champa. And there's nothing you can do about it. Like, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. They will tap that 3, they will play that Cooler, they will likely draw 2, and they will force you into a combo phase. And it's like, it's infuriating, because the people that are defending the card 9 times out of 10 were like, okay, we'll just have the combo. It's like, you dummy. Of course I didn't have the combo. That's why I freaking countered the swing. Like, I did not want to go to the combo step here.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly why I tapped this energy to say no. And Cooler is just like, yeah, I don't care. And I think that's not a healthy mechanic, and it hasn't ever been. I think that counter plays are cool and all, but I think that the ability to counter a counter is something that should be very, very, very looked at. Like, that card needed
how do you feel about the blue counter? Baby.
The blue counter baby. Baby costs 5. It's a really, really strong card. But like, the thing about baby to me is that while sometimes it can feel unfair and overbearing, the setup needs to be there. If you have the energy open to baby ape somebody, you had an established board and your opponent did not answer it the previous turn, or you did not do anything the prior turn, but you have energy up for baby. Mm-hmm. So to that degree, I think baby's a little more balanced, because like,
but blue can be quite overtuned as far as ramping goes. So I mean, it can be, especially with some of like the new Trunks deck, for example.
The new Trunks deck is quite a beast. I do feel like I like the new Trunks deck. I do feel like out of most of the Zenkai decks that just got released, it has, I don't know, it and Pan are kind of on the lower echelon for me, between like things like Gotenks and Monkey Goku. But like the Trunks is a blue deck in the sense that it can ramp, it can make a board, but it's susceptible to hand control, and it doesn't necessarily build hand the fastest out of the newer decks. And so sometimes I feel like Trunks can ramp, but if it runs out of gas in hand, or you pressure it too hard, or you slip through some of the blue floodgates, I feel like it can be potentially scary. And then SS4 Vegeta, I know I should probably respect it more, but at heart, I'm a Gohan player, so it's never getting combo high enough to ramp on me. It's just like a vanilla leader that draws when it swings. So I have an incredible amount of disrespect for SS4 Vegeta, and I'm sorry to anybody that likes my content but loves that deck.
That's fair enough. Yeah, so
it's just like...
So what do you think of Broly Crown with the new SS4 Gogeta unison? What do you think of that interaction? Do you think that's a fair one?
Not really. And I don't want to be a hypocrite because hypothetically I would be banking on that too in Gohan. But like I've always liked Broly Crown. Who wouldn't?
It's a great
Broly
card
Crown
for
is
red.
one of those. Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's strong in a bunch of ways. It's always been strong. Red Broly Crown is a card that essentially warps how you have to think about playing against your opponent. And that's what makes it so powerful. Against any other deck, for the most part, you're able to make that decision to keep energy open for a heavy defensive turn or to fully expend most of your energy for a heavy offensive turn. Against red, you can never strictly count on keeping your energy up for a heavy defensive turn because it can mean you getting your hand peeked at.
Exactly.
Now
if there's any color that you need defensive resources, it's against red. So
yep. And yes, this has always kind of been a thing. Depending on the color that you're playing against, there are options. You know, yellow has been able to use things like Tyrannical Blow. Even in the last format with Gamma, if somebody ever was like, haha, got your ass because I have 3 energy open and they play Crown, I'm just like, you know what? You got 5 energy. You are probably going to follow this up. I'm just going to dirty burst you right here. Close off that energy.
Yeah.
Draw a card.
Always.
And then you're sitting here with your Crown
with
your Crown mad because you're about to follow it up with like a 4-drop red threat, like, or your SCR or something like that. But,
yeah, that's definitely the shut off when playing blues to just hit a dirty burst. And they're like, what? That doesn't affect Broly. But yeah, it does.
Yeah, for real. It's like kind of weird, but like I do feel like it is a little rough because you never want to feel like your plays are being super limited, and that is exactly what this does. So now it's even worse because before against a red deck you could count their energy. That's the one thing about playing against a red deck that's always been detrimental for the red player. Your plays, even when your plays aren't linear, your energy is. You don't have any untap effects. You have some free plays, but they're foreseeable. You got an Overwhelm, you got King Piccolo, New Ruler. And that's always kind of been the thing. If your opponent has 5 energy, you know that they might keep 1 energy up and they have 4 energy worth of plays. If your opponent has 4 energy, you know you're not being crowned as well as anything that's detrimental. The issue with red now with the Gogeta Unison and Crown is that they're essentially 1 turn ahead with that play. On 4 energy, your opponent can now choose to +2 Gogeta, check your hand, and then decide if they want to commit all 4 of their energy to their strongest plays. And that puts red in a very, 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 very strong position. But it also puts you in a position as a player to have to play differently if you're playing red. And I think that that's always going to be strong. Any deck that forces you to play outside of your normal parameters or game plan, that's format warping. And it's definitely something that needs to be looked at. So
yeah, I agree. I just think it's because of the free play effect and the fact that it can be comboed from rest mode as well. It's just too much power. Red doesn't need it. It would. I mean, I don't know if you've played against the new red decks, but the red does not need Broly Crown. And I've been playing one of them, and I've been playing one of them without Broly Crown, and thinking if I had Broly Crown in this deck, it would be ridiculous. So
yeah, it's so. I am so on the fence about Broly Crown as a whole. I don't think it needed Gogeta because that was just very strong. But in terms of what Broly Crown represents, red is very unforgiving with its energy usage. And I think that's where Crown came in the first place. When you know that 3 energy in red is a heavy investment, when most other colors are willing to play 3 energy just to play a setup card. Like yellow will play 3 energy just for absolute annihilation and basically like blue will put out 3 energy for a random blocker. Like green will of course play 3 energy for a plethora of things. But even 2 energy in red is kind of like oof, like, that's an investment. So Crown was always that card to make sure that you pay 1 energy, you check your opponent's hand, and you can safely decide whether or not it's okay to sink 3 energy in, 2 energy in, things like that. And without Crown, yes, red is still going to survive as a color, but you're going in a lot more blind. And when it comes to red, yes, we have Yamcha, but almost every valid card right now is being printed with Deflect. We have the Del, but that requires you to play a certain unison. When you look at the other colors, blue's never tapping out. And even when it does, God Sealing is one heck of a card. Again, God Sealing is a card where if you see it in hand, you don't want to sink 3 energy into anything unless it has Deflect. Yellow can do so much off of 1 energy, it's not even funny. So they can spend 4 energy and leave 1 energy up, and you'll still get Power of a Super Saiyan reposted, and like the Secret Herb will stop a shotgun. Green has Charismatic as well as Dormant. Like, these are both great cards. Like, between Charismatic, Dormant, and the Blocker Negate, Green can do an incredible amount with no energy. I still think till this day, red is still the color that gets punished most heavily for investing energy. And that's the only reason why I'm kind of hesitant to take out Crown from the game, because right now, if you take out Crown, people have the ability to pass with lots of energy up. And if you do that, I think that puts red in a horrendous position in general. Like, red is already not winning every game it plays when people are leaving 1 energy up a turn. If people can leave 2, 3 energy up a turn, I think that's actually like the silent death as red as a color, because our plays are so linear and our energy goes very, very finite on light plays. That's just my personal opinion.
No, I mean, it's a very good opinion as well. So just a few more questions here, and then that would be it. So what compelled you to become a content creator? What was the reason you decided to do that?
So this is like, now we're in the philosophical area. One, first and foremost, as a person, I have, when it comes to goals, I often look down the field instead of like where I'm standing. I'm a very long-term goals kind of person, and sometimes it gets discouraging to be a long-term goal kind of person, but not being able to mentally stop and like smell the roses. I'm very bad at understanding accomplishments in the moment. Like, I can reach a milestone and I'm already looking at my next milestone, like, why am I not here yet? What am I not doing correctly? I could get a top and then already be like, but it's not as big of a tournament as I'd like to top in. How do I get there? And a YouTube channel was something that I could meticulously sink my time and effort into, but I could see it building along the way. I can see subscribers rising. I can see the community being built. And so as a hobby, it checked off a lot of boxes for me. It gave me something that could fill up my spare time. It gave me something that I could focus on, because I swear, like, I'm pretty sure I have ADHD. Like, right now, I am talking to you, I'm on tap, I'm farming in Dokkan. I'm literally like, I'm pretty sure I'm undiagnosed. I just need anchor points. And a YouTube channel is a massive anchor point for me. It gives me something that gives me long-term objectives while I can see it building in real time. And so that's what started it. And then what kept it going is just like all the people that I've been able to touch, reach out to. It's a crazy feeling going to an event and having people be like, yo, Uni, and me just being like, oh, hey, dude, like that's cool to me. Like, it's still like that. Like, I've been doing this for a couple years and it is still like that. Like, going to an event and having people come up, like in Philadelphia, like that was one of the first times that people were like, can I take a picture? And I'm like, I mean, I'm a bum, but like, yeah. So like that's like,
well, it's a level of appreciation for what you do, you know, because it's, you know, it can feel thankless sometimes doing this kind of stuff. So, you know, seeing people in person appreciate you like that is a nice reality check, I hope, for what you do.
It is definitely cool, because you're not wrong. There's a lot of people will say all sorts of things out of their bum and not even realize like how foolish it is. Like they'll be like, oh, well, this person's just in it for the money, so of course they're gonna be like a Bandai shit. It's like, what money? Like, yo, back it up.
Yeah, no,
I don't think people realize it's like we can talk about conversions, but once you're monetized, you can like for instance, every time somebody clicks skip ad, you gain no money for that ad skipped. So that's already most of it right there. So when you see these unskippable ads, don't curse us. Curse the way the system works, because we're just trying to collect pennies. Now, at the same time, I can let you know right now, an average 1,100 viewers. I was just explaining the metric to one of my besties last night. An average 1,100 viewers comes out to about $6.08. Imagine that. Now, with most of these videos that I put on my channel getting between 300 and 600 views, that's not even $10. That's like come on, guys. So when you look at these things, when people are like, oh, well, they're just in it for the money, or they're just here for, there's not that. It's chump change. We do it because we like doing it.
Passion.
And
passion for
exactly
for what you're enjoying.
What you guys don't know.
The money does help though. So yeah, go to our Patreon, go to buy our TCGPlayer, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah,
for real. That's why so many things are on the other side. That's why there is a Patreon. That's why there is a TCGPlayer thing. That's why we do search for sponsorships, because it's not like YouTube is coming out. People tend to look at the fringe cases and think that that's how everybody is. Like you look at the Leons, like the Leon Hearts who do the Pokemon stuff. That dude is making hand over fist, but he's also retrieving like, I don't know, like what, thousands, like tens of thousands. I was just explaining to the same homie, he was talking about YouTube stuff. Like we watch a guy named The Truth who does videos on Dokkan, and in the past 7 days, he has released so many videos on this game, and he's getting anywhere from 15,000 to 160,000 views. So for him, yeah, in the past calendar 7 days, he's racked up 2,552,000 views, which is over, like, it's quite so much. It's actually 2 million, 2.5 million. So he, yes, is grossing $16,000 of revenue in a week based off of that. But that's not everybody. Like, that is not everybody. And there's a huge gap until you get there. So it can be very thankless. You are up late at night editing and recording. And a card game channel is so much different than a lot of other channels. You can play a game, and it's not any offense to anybody doing anything, but you can play a game and do a walkthrough. You can open up packs. There's a lot of stuff that's like low input, but can get a lot of views. But when you're doing discussion content, I mean, I'm not going to say you can't just talk out of your butt and still get views, because there are people I will not name. JK, I'll give you some clout. Look at the card, the Kung Fu Master. Look at the great Herberto. Like, he can say anything and just get some views. He can play a whole deck of unisons with no super combos and get some views. But 9 times out of 10, if you don't know what you're talking about, people are going to call you out on it, and you're going to lose credibility. So you need to sit there. You need to test. You need to study. And that's actually why I haven't uploaded in 2 weeks. I've been so down in the dumps. I have been minimal on my testing with Zenkai stuff. So I can still discuss some of it because I have been in the loop. But I will never get on my channel and be like, this is what I swear by, knowing I've had 3 games under my belt with it. It's just not how I operate. Yeah. So that's there's a lot of input. There's a lot you don't see. You know, the actual filming of it is a very minimal part. The preparation and everything else around it is definitely like a huge part of the process. So, but I mean, it's a process you enjoy, obviously, because you continue to do it. So yes,
yeah. All right, so we're pretty much all done there. Just one more question for you, Chris, and I'll let you go. Okay. What is your opinion on? Yeah, it's been fun. What is your opinion on the state of the game in general, with Zenkai coming out now, and how do you want the future to go regarding competitive play?
All right, this is see, like you said,
a biggie to finish. Yeah.
So one, shameless plug here. I just released a video called Zenkai Foursquare, where I talked about how I think the format is going to be until we get the Anti-Box. And I will just lightly touch upon that. I think right now we are looking at Monkey Goku and Sin Shenron being the best decks coming out of here, followed by Green Gotenks. Well, not immediately Green Gotenks, followed by immediately SS4 Goku, and somewhere around there, Green Gotenks. Monkey Goku has all of the survivability of yellow, plus the tapping that yellow tends to have, and it's able to string together its effects, and it makes it very disruptive in general. You are playing a game where you can't even keep your steady one drops on the board. If you have one drops that need setup, they will be tapped, they will be swung on. You have something that you swung with, congratulations, you're getting a free played Explosive Spirit Son Goku played, and it's gonna pop it, and he's gonna untap. There's so much going for this yellow deck, and I think it's clearly at the top. Meanwhile, you have Sin Shenron, and I know a lot of people think that, feel that SS4 could be better, but this is another thing I discussed in my video. SS4 to me is Gohan. Now, some people are going to say this weird. It's U7 Gohan 2.0 for me. You spend 70 to 80% of your game cantripping and filtering to set up your burst turns. Mm-hmm. And then during those turns, you have an incredible amount of pressure. The moment I started actually sitting down and playing SS4, I started to like it because it reminded me of my favorite deck. However, people that know me know that I think that GT stands for Garbo Trash, and I refuse. So
fair enough.
We're just gonna scrape that off the table.
If it's not canon, it can, you know.
It just that's a whole another video. You can check if you want me to do a rant. You can check that out on Uni X Mag. I will literally make an FGT rant, and you guys can comment and hate on me there. It's fine. But the point is, for me, Sin is impactful from start to finish. All of Sin's cards do something, and I think that's a lot of equal pressure across the board. And then its late game, its mid to late game is wild. Once you hit that boss Sin card, it's hard for your opponent to keep things on the board. Once you Z-Awaken, holy crap, like you're just giving minus, like it's Oprah Winfrey. It's Omega Oprah. Like, and you get a minus, and you get a minus, and everything's just like getting faded.
Yeah.
But SS4 is weird to a point where I think people just need more games against it, and they need to cater to it because its burst turns are extremely linear and foreseeable. It's a quintessential red deck in terms of where it puts its power. It just cantrips and filters a lot. It makes you feel like you're doing a million things, but half the cards that deck just say see your next card or two. So that's the thing. Gotenks is still very, very, very consistent, and the cards in the Zenkai deck, the Piccolo, the Fat Gotenks, they've really added to the consistency. Past that, though, the deck is able to utilize Cell Xeno better than ever. It's just gotten more 6-ups. Faded Rivals is low-key. It's a problem. People don't see it now because Red's the most powerful deck, and anytime Red's the most powerful deck, Green can have some trouble. However, the moment Green gets a 9 out of 10 deck, people are going to be complaining about Faded Rivals. Like, there's no way around it. It's a 3-cost pair of cards that does an incredible amount. Goku is Barrier Smokage. Piccolo is almost point-and-click unison removal. It's actually insane how easy it is to remove unisons in Green right now. And then it's just, there's a whole lot going for it. So that's why I think the 4 kind of Knights of the Apocalypse are. But even outside of that, most cases, a deck from this new set will punish a deck from outside this set.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
You look, people are crapping on PyCon. I'm like, dog, PyCon will dog walk most of last format. Like, without trouble.
It's definitely a massive, massive step up. So, all right, Chris.
Yeah.
So, thanks for the video. We're just about finished there. We're just about running out of time. So, yeah. So, Chris, you have your own channels, right? Do you wanna just run everyone through your channels and give out some shout outs and stuff like that?
Four things real quick. We've got Uni X DBS. That's where I am playing like all of these card games and all of like these card games, and I'm not gonna reach my One Piece promo cards over there, and that's where the magic happens for card games. Then you have Uni X DB, which is where I am playing like, you know, my Dragon Ball games, and that's pretty much where that is. And then you have my third channel, which is just going to be my most fun channel. That's Uni X Mag. That's pretty much manga, anime, and their games, where I'm just doing anything I feel like having fun there. Like, I did a review for Dragon Ball Superhero. Next month, when we get Dragon Ball chapters, I'm going to start reviewing those. I put clips from my Twitch streams there. I doctor them and edit them. Right now we're doing a Kingdom Hearts playthrough.
Oh, cool.
And then speaking of Twitch, yeah, I've got Uni X or UXG Live, where I am going to be streaming anything I really feel like. And so between those are my 4 places where you can find like content that I do. Currently kind of going through a life transition where wasn't ready to leave my career 6 years, but it ended up happening. And so I'm in this interesting place where I think I'm going to actually try content creation. Like sometimes you got to make a leap, even when it's not what you thought was going to happen, when you thought it was going to happen. So like long story short, going to withdraw the 401k, see exactly how much revenue I can make when I have nothing to do but content creation.
Yeah.
So any support on any of those avenues would be great. And then I'm going to be working with Team Deck Planet.
Yeah, I was going to say
more content.
Yeah, I was going to say with that in mind, welcome you to the content team. Chris is going to be doing some content. Do you have any ideas off the top of your head that you might want to bring to the table for the team?
You know, we would need a round table for that. I've always got ideas. It's just it was always before just a matter of time. Mm-hmm. And now time is probably the resource I have most. I definitely have more time than cash right now, I'll tell you what. So like, look, we're going to be making a lot of stuff, and I can't wait to work with the collective minds of the team, because I've already seen a fair amount of the stuff that the team is capable of. Like Chris Anderson and I, we go back a long time. We go back to the days of Zeno Harambe when he was really, really new, and I was making video after video about Dark Broly, and it was the first time I got a name to stick. Like Zeno Harambe was always cool, so when I like made my first custom metal leader and we collabed on it,
Very
like
nice.
that meant something to me. So it's really cool to be on a team with him again. We've got a bunch of great people, and then just kind of being brought in, I started seeing some of like the business minds on the Deck Planet team, and I'm just like this is crisp. Like we have people like managing like Patreon, managing TCGPlayer. Look at this like interview setup you're looking at right now with Josh. Like this is clean. There's a lot of good minds on this group that are coming together to make something, and I was very interested to be a part of that. Plus, I need to be pulling out of Slumpville, and when you have all these elevated people, I think this is like the stratosphere that I need to be pulled back into. And so all in all, I think it was just a great time to join, and I'm really excited to work with everybody here. And like we're gonna put some people in Top Gun and Nets.
Absolutely.
So,
we're really, really excited to have you as well, Chris, and I'm sure we're going to make some incredible stuff together. And yeah, no, definitely it would be great to see you doing some deck profiles and, you know, reporting on Nats and stuff, reporting on all our tops. So yeah, watch out, guys. But yeah, thanks a lot, Chris. Guys, we'll have part 2 coming up soon. It'll probably be released tomorrow or the day after, so keep an eye out on that, where me and Chris will have our first game against each other, so that would be great. But yeah, thanks a lot, Chris. Catch you soon.
Problem. All right, thanks for having me.
Nice one, guys. See you next time.